Get back in the car.
Is he authorized to put his hands on Johnny Damon's wife like that?
Back in the car.
All right, don't touch me.
The answer to this question is easy, but understanding that analysis is more important so that you can apply it to future circumstances. Use of force analysis is the process by which we analyze an officer's behavior to determine whether his conduct conformed within the natural boundaries of the use of force matrix. Officers who exceed the boundaries as set forth in the use of force matrix are said to have used excessive force. That's illegal. This legal analysis is going to be critical in the trial where Derek Chauvin is charged with murder. The nationwide standard for use of force came about when the United States Supreme Court issued their ruling in Graham v. Connor. That case stands for the proposition that police use of force is analyzed under the Fourth Amendment objective reasonableness test. The objective standard is used to determine would a police officer with similar circumstance and similar training respond in a similar way. That's the question. The court doesn't want to judge police officers from the bench in a scholarly position reading the books. They seem to understand that the police officer's world is pretty chaotic. And so instead of setting hard, fast rules, they establish factors which can be used to determine whether an officer's conduct was reasonable or not. They gave us some factors to work with, but they were clear by saying that this is not a comprehensive list. States, counties, and cities have all looked at these factors based upon their understanding and how they rank things. They've made their use of force matrix. So there's some differences from state to state and even agency to agency, but the overall general factors are the same, just one agency may rank something higher than the other. That's okay. These factors are generally broken down into subject and officer factors. Seriousness of the crime committed by the subject, size, age, weight, physical ability of the subject, the number of suspects present, and the list goes on. So now we move on to the deputy factors, which includes the same type of thing. Size, physical ability of law enforcement, number of law enforcement officers present, the ability or lack of ability to plan, whether the attack is spontaneous. Now that we have all the factors to consider, now let's take a look at the use of force matrix to determine whether the officer's actions were reasonable. If you look along the left side of the use of force matrix, you'll see that it has the resistance levels. Level 1 presence, level 2 verbal, level 3 passive physical, level 4 active, level 5 aggressive, level 6 aggravated physical. And if you look down the bottom across, you'll see the proper response levels. Command presence, communication, physical control, weapons and ECD, incapacitation, and deadly force. This particular use of force matrix was downloaded from the Orange County Sheriff's Office website. Thank you for making this publicly available. Level 1, presence, no physical harm. The suspect's there, the officer's there, and it's suspicious. That's it. 2, verbal resistance. No physical harm. A subject may verbally refuse to comply with a deputy's request or attempt to control the situation. The subject may threaten the deputy with further resistance, or the subject may not respond to the deputy's commands. Level 3, passive physical resistance. The risk here is slight physical harm. A subject physically refuses to comply or respond to a deputy's command. He or she does not make any attempt to physically defeat the actions of the deputy, but he forces the deputy to employ physical maneuvers or OC pepper spray to establish control. A subject makes physically evasive movements to defeat a deputy's attempt at control. This may be in the form of bracing or tensing, attempts to push or pull away or not allow the deputy to get close to him or her or close the distance. Number 5, aggressive physical resistance. A subject makes overt, hostile attacking movements which may cause injury but are not likely to cause death or serious harm to the deputy or others. Level 6, aggravated physical resistance. Talking great bodily harm or death. The subject makes overt, hostile attacking movements with or without a weapon with the apparent ability to cause death or serious bodily injury to the deputy or another. So then what can the officers do? Level 1 is all about command presence, engaging in communication and making sure that your demeanor is appropriate for the circumstances. At level 2, we introduce two different things. One, we can apply handcuffs, and two, we introduce the idea of a firm or strong touch. Touch. A deputy may use a soft assisting touch when guiding, directing, or obtaining the attention of a subject, or a firm, strong touch just prior to escalating the next level of force. We'll talk about that in a minute. Level 3 is where the officer's toolbox really opens up. We're talking pepper spray, armbar takedowns, shoulder locks, and even pain compliance. You smack somebody in the face, and before they know what happened, they're in handcuffs. It's all about shocking the conscience to get that delay mechanism to allow yourself to get the person into handcuffs with the least amount of opportunity for anyone to get hurt. Sometimes you got to be creative. Level 4 is where things really step up and people have the opportunity to get hurt. And that's when we start talking about tasers and impact weapons. At number 5, we open up the door for incapacitation. And what this really means is you have all the tools available to you that were up until that point, but now you no longer have to focus on the safe, meaty, muscular portions of the body. You can now go for areas like breaking bones and causing serious harm to debilitate the person and take the fight out of him. Level 6 is a deadly force encounter. The officer can use his bare hands, any of his weapons, or any weapons of opportunity to inflict violence on the person that's trying to cause death or serious bodily injury to the officer or another. That can get ugly real quick. How is it that a police officer could manipulate the use of force structure? You can respond to a level 2 resistance with a level 2 touch with a firmness and degree that's going to cause the person or a normal person to react by pulling away. Once the person pulls away, they have now escalated up into level 4. Look at the definition. If they're at level 4, that means I can now escalate up to level 4 and I can use my impact weapons or taser against them. So how does this work? I grab her arm, knowing that she's probably going to pull away, and she does, and I immediately come with a closed fist. Sorry. There's one additional circumstance that we're going to have to take into consideration to finish this conversation up. Time, intensity, and target. How many times or how long did the officer hold the technique or carry out the action? 1. How many punches? Intensity. Was he going at 50%? Was he going at 25%? Was this a gentle tug? And target. Where did the officer aim? Was the officer aiming for the tricep, the meaty portion of the tricep where someone might get pain compliance? Or was he aiming for the neck where we know there can be serious damage done to someone and causing serious bodily injury or death? So we have 3 things to consider. The factors, the use of force matrix, the levels of response on both sides, and now the time, intensity, and target of the officer's actions. In this particular case, the traffic stop was going fine. She wasn't even an issue until she gets out of the car, refusing to get back into the car, not complying with his commands. That's a factor we're going to consider. She's not listening to commands. Okay, well, that automatically takes us up to level 2. At that point in time, the officer is justified to grab her with a firm, strong touch prior to escalating the next level of force. That's what he did. I would say she's probably lucky that she got stopped by Windermere. The guys I worked with at the sheriff's office. Do you think a large number of police officers use more force than they need to? If you want to go deeper into this conversation where you and I can interact one-on-one and ask me direct questions, join me on Clubhouse at 5 p.m. every Monday.